I would normally quote something from Transformers, but I'm not a huge Transformers guy. Anyway, hey everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews, doing a current movie review for Transformers Rise of the Beast. So I'll just get the box office out of the way. I'm not a huge box office tracker, but it did pretty good at the end of this weekend as of this recording, and this is the Monday after its first week. Yeah, it got 61 mil domestically, and I think worldwide it got almost 80. So for an estimated $200 million budget, that's a pretty good start to at least get the budget back. Don't know on marketing and toys wise because the thing we'll get to the plot in a minute. Long story short, yeah, the thing about the marketing for this movie was pretty low. Not a lot of trailers, not a lot of toys. I think for most of Transformers fans that did reviews of this movie's figures coming out. I think even Shartimus Prime got around to getting like an RC or whatever those new remote control self-transforming figures for I think the Maximals this time around. So positives, like I said, I think years back when I think Bumblebee came out, it's not Bay, which is awesome. I think the director this time around was the guy that did, yeah, Stephen Cable Jr., who did Creed 2, so go to my review when that was new. And yeah, I can say this lovingly. There is a guy in the trailers you don't see till the very, 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 very end, and we'll get to him in a minute. But I guess rules of the road here. I am not a huge Transformers guy. I'm clearly Power Rangers. And then we'll get to the what little Hasbro references there were throughout this movie. So the plot this time around was basically a pseudo sequel to Bumblebee. If you remember, Bumblebee was a prequel taking place in the 80s when it was more about the human characters trying to like do their own thing, and Haley Steinfeld's character's case, she tried to be your own person, kind of coming of age kind of stuff like you see from 80s movies. I think Josh Trank, who did that movie, I forgot the director's name, so I'll leave it down below for cast IMDb's for that and Bumblebee, just in case. Did a pretty good job at least explaining that side of the story. Here it's in the 90s. You get a guy named Noah who's basically a dude that just got out of army recruitment and wasn't really cool with others and essentially had to do New York shit. The only thing I think that popped off on me, I guess fandom wise, like the Transformers fans did when the early trailers for Bumblebee came out, was when they realized they were kind of doing all the like the fan terminologies of like the toys, like Cable. For those who don't know, is basically like showing all like the shoving like all the robot stuff underneath like the vehicle mode, and stuff like that throughout Bumblebee. There is some fandom terminology there, not said out loud, but like, no, we can do this now. We got the CG to do it now, and Bay's not like in the room telling us to do like explosions and turn into like a Victoria's Secret commercial every 5 minutes kind of thing. Yeah, the guy was that bad of a dude. I think I don't know. Sorry, I just woke up. It's gonna be one of those I just woke up movies. I had a whole plan for getting my Outback figure out to explain the post credit, but I figured I'd do it as this since I'm here. So yeah. The whole positives I'll say is that Anthony Ramos is Noah Diaz is actually a really good human lead, since like I said, Seinfeld's character in Bumblebee, but again that's not a hard road to follow up to, and honestly the two of them alone are way better than Mark Wahlberg and Shia LaBeouf in the Bay years of Transformers movies. So scratchy the voice aside, let's get to the voice actors of both the Autobots and Maximals. Though I don't know much about Transformers G's 1 to whatever the current animated stuff is off the top of my head, I am a huge Beast Wars fan. I used to own the figures back in the day when I was a kid. And yeah, Jobby the Han had a really fun time making reviews for all those Masterpiece adjacent Beast Wars figures. So yeah, I'll go to his reviews for that if anything else. Also, since I have time talking about Transformers channels that are way better than me, or figure reviewers that are better than me, I highly recommend either the non-spoilers or full spoilers review for TG Omega. Again, he also is a huge Transformers fan and went a little more in depth than he thought. There is some fandom stuff from both the Beast Wars side of things and obviously the Transformers side that are at least better. So, we'll get to most of the human characters in a bit. For Ron Perlman and Michelle Yeoh's Maximals, obviously, Optimus Primal in Ron Perlman's case, yeah, you could definitely tell he got a lot better as time went on, because this isn't the first time he did Optimus, his version of Primal. I think he did it during seasons either 1 or 2 of the Netflix show that the name of it escapes me off the top of my head, their Transformers series that Rooster Teeth helped a little bit. So go to that, I guess trailers wise, to see if he was in that. Yeah, I think that's what TJ might have mentioned on his end too. Ultimately, Terracons, the villains of this movie, basically, hey, we kind of got everyone here, but we can't do Predacons just yet unless this gets a sequel. And, honestly, I kind of get it. As for Pete Davidson's Mirage, this would be the part where I'm like, oh, he's like a comedy character, you're not gonna mention it. No, he actually put work into it. I'm not even kidding. He's like exactly what I wanted like Bumblebee to be throughout like either the Bay years or after his solo movie, is to just have a voice actor. Like, what is wrong with that? I get the semi nostalgia for him doing like movie lines and stuff like that, but it's weirder not to have voice actor if you have most of every other Transformer have like lines and stuff. Like, I know on the Maximal side of things, for the third act, yeah, this is mercifully short. I just forgot to mention, runtime wise, you're looking at about a good 2 hours and 7 minutes. That's like mercifully short. I guess to be compared, that is 20 minutes less, maybe 30 minutes less than the first movie back in 2007 on Bay's year. So take that as you will. Is it forgettable? At points and stuff like that. However, I will say, for both Ramos and Dominique Fishback's Elena, they are doing the best what they could for being Noah and Elena. You could definitely tell they're like new faces into this whole world, kind of like I want to say like Shia was back in the first movie, but like way more toned down. You could definitely tell. I forgot the guy that played Wheeljack, who ended up being later in the movie, I think for most of Act 2. He's a Ted Lasso character actor. Long story short, he's the cool one. He's like the Cinnamon World one if he was a really good kicker in your team. I don't know UK football. My apologies in advance, so I'm going to leave it at that. I think you know what I mean, hopefully, if you just look through the IMDb like I'm about to do. So yeah, ultimately, it's not bad. Bay could never do Unicron, and you get the most of Unicron screen time than he did with the brief mention he got in, what was it, Last Night, during the Mark Wahlberg years of the Bay movies. Yeah, we don't talk about those. And, honestly, as far as this movie goes, it's actually good. I mean, it's probably in most, Transformers fan circles, second best to, Bumblebee, and it's a fair assessment in my opinion as well. But honestly, it's a good like celebration of like how far you gotta go to do a decent adaptation of some version of Transformers lore. Ultimately, I don't really know. It's up to you if you want to see this like in theaters right now or later down the road on streaming on Paramount Plus, which is probably gonna end up being like in the next couple months. Box office wise, I don't really know if it's gonna have a decent second week. I know for a fact that Flash is next week, so I will be probably doing more retro reviews leading up to that. Yeah, my apologies in advance for that Punisher retro review. It was a spur of the moment kind of thing for basically when Ray Stevenson passed away or a few weeks back. I just thought it was my touchstone to the guy, and I wanted to do something for that. So, already prepping reviews ahead. My ultimate rating for Transformers: Rise of the Beast, it's a good 6.5 out of 10. Now, keep in mind that is pretty low on like the Transformers side of things. However, that is also pretty high if you consider the Bay movies that came before this. So, high praise here on this channel, if anything else. Like I said, should you see this when this is new? Probably if you don't want to see Flash next week, yeah, if you want to just give something a chance, this is one of those movies to give it the chance. Yeah, on the Maximal side of things, yeah, Rhinox and most of like the usual mainstays showed up as well. The only one I think they're missing that I would have loved to hear like a fan cast voice act too. I don't know who would do it, but like Dinobot, everyone in the Beast Wars side of the fandom kind of ride or died with him. He was like the closest to like the Transformers equivalent of a Wolverine type kind of dude, and you could definitely tell. But yeah, that's again like the few knowledge I remember of Beast Wars lore. Still more knowledgeable than I did with G1 and G2 Transformers lore, so gotta give me that on that at least. So yeah, ultimately, let's get to this post-cred because, yeah, so like I said throughout this review, you can tell this is a standard, sort of, again, better than Bay movie, but again, pretty standard, nothing really cool to remember this by. Till you get to the post-creds. Yeah, so like I said, two things happen. I forgot to mention spoilers in the plot. Noah throughout is basically trying to build a relationship with not just the Maximals and Autobots, but be cool with Mirage, because it was like his bumblebee, so he has to be cool with him somehow, human plot wise. And also, I think a lot of people said in the non-spoilers reviews, like, hey, he has a brother that's like kind of sick and stuff, and they want to like follow up on that. They kind of do at times, and it is kind of like a good dramatic kind of thing for a human plot ever in a while, so you gotta give that at least. However, yeah, Mirage ends up becoming essentially exosuit Iron Man style armor for Noah at the third act, which is actually pretty cool. I think that's again a reference to the '86 movie, so go with it as you will. I know Razzle just basically did their commentary track. Yeah, they didn't have that many jokes because the '86 Transformers movie that much of a banger almost 40 years later, so take that as you will. So that's not like the huge spoiler stuff. Like, basically they were doing like the wrap up stuff, like you would do with the normal like AA or not mid tier, but like B tier kind of like movies. Like, oh, let's just wrap it up like TV shows kind of wrap up. But then there's Michael Kelly's if I got his name right. No, it doesn't have it here. He's a mystery like government character you've been seeing in the trailers. Like, oh, we've been fighting a private war. Like, it's all like proxy kind of like Metal Gear kind of stuff, but for Transformers. That this franchise is not shy to. Like, throughout the Bay movie years, they've always had like a military presence and stuff like that. They always screw them over as time goes on in most of the sequels. However, this time around, it ain't anything. It's not like a new TRF. It's not like some new made-up thing that Bay thought last minute. It's not even like some, oh, we're just like the Pentagon, we don't give a shit. Like, no. They cut to G.I. Joes. I'm not kidding. That is like the hugest spoiler I probably said for a Transformer series in quite a while. So I'll give you, you got to give them this one, give them on this one. Also, that kind of undoes a lot of Bay. I'm a big fan of military jargon that he's always been like doing throughout these movies, and that is awesome. Essentially, if I'm right, and most Transformers fans are probably theorizing this as well, they're doing a IDW crossover comics as like the canon going forward for these movies, and that's actually pretty interesting. That I'm not even kidding. Like, it's a bold move, especially earlier when they totally fake killed Bumblebee and Mirage. Again, another thing I kind of didn't like about I know I just spoiled probably like the best thing for this franchise going forward if they follow up on that next time around. But I just want to circle back to B real quick. I was okay with like him doing movie quotes and stuff like that in the early like Babe movie years, but now it's like, can you just give him a voice actor? Like I don't know, not Jason David Frank, John Young Bosch, who did him I think in one of the games, I think the Cybertron games. That would be a cool voice actor to work off of. That'd be nice. I mean, you have Peter calling the original voice of Optimus throughout all these movies. Throughout, why can't you just have like a mainstay, you know, Bumblebee actor as well? Anyway, overthinking that. Let's get back to the G.I. Joe stuff. That's awesome. And there was another mid-credit of just basically Mirage getting rebuilt. So again, that's pretty much plot spoilers. That's more of a plot post-credit, but like this main post-credit is kind of whatever I think everyone is going to talk about for quite a while if they can follow up on that on Paramount's end. So yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, should you see this movie? I already did my 6 out of 10. It depends if you really are interested with that post-credit, so my bad in advance on spoiling it. Again, if you want to see it later, you can fast forward to that spoiler to see if they do follow up on, if they have the potential to have G.I. Joe's crossover with them. I don't know if I did a Snake Eyes review. I might have did it on the end of the year video. I mean, it was a nice idea. It was pretty cool, but honestly, it is fast forwarding them into modern day, and that would be pretty interesting going forward. Timeline-wise, I'm already overthinking this crossover as it is. So with my overthought thoughts coming into me probably for the rest of this week before Flash. Yeah, end cards finally coming up. First hand here to my previous review, which was obviously Spider-Verse or Punisher Warzone, whichever comes out. Other hand here to my Critical Role shorts. Yeah, I just got a short down for episode 60, so I'll see that probably tomorrow. Short here. Oh, I forgot to mention, yeah, Noah's brother is a huge Power Rangers fan, so Coco Power Rangers there. Also, 90s wise, that makes sense because season 2 was happening just then, so he was probably getting used to like Thunderstorms back then. I was already thinking that on like a nostalgic kind of level, which is actually pretty cool for once, earning my namesake again as a Retrokid. So yeah, notification bell down below if like Hasbro wants to butt heads with Transformers and Power Rangers. That would be pretty interesting for a Boom comic, if anything else. So yeah, with that all being said, and potential crossovers aside, this is Retrokid Review saying you're gonna have GI Joes in the next movie. All right, balls in your court, Paramount. I kind of want to see where this ball lies. I'm gonna be honest with you there.